Calm people are the most dangerous, not because they are loud, aggressive, or intimidating, but because they are governed. In a world addicted to reaction, calmness is a rare form of authority. Anyone can shout. Anyone can panic. Anyone can respond emotionally. But it takes inner mastery to remain steady when pressure demands chaos. Calmness is not weakness. It is evidence of control. A calm person has already won battles you never saw. They have disciplined their thoughts, restrained their emotions, and trained their spirit to lead rather than follow circumstances. While others are exhausted by conflict, the calm individual is observing, calculating, and positioning. Their silence is not confusion, it is strategy. The most dangerous people are not those who react first, but those who respond last. Calm people don't waste energy explaining themselves, defending their ego, or engaging in unnecessary drama. They understand that power does not announce itself. Authority does not rush. Strength does not need validation. When pressure rises, panic reveals immaturity, but calmness reveals preparation. Calm people are dangerous because they cannot be manipulated. You cannot provoke them easily. You cannot distract them with noise. You cannot control them through fear. They operate from purpose, not pressure. A calm person sees further because emotions are no longer blocking their vision. While others are blinded by anger or anxiety, the calm mind remains clear. Decisions made from clarity carry weight. Actions taken from calmness produce lasting results. Calm people are dangerous because they choose restraint over reaction. They know when to speak and when silence carries more authority than words. They understand that not every battle deserves their energy, and not every argument deserves a response. This selectiveness is not avoidance, it is wisdom. When chaos enters a room, calm people become anchors. Their presence shifts the atmosphere. Their confidence unsettles insecure minds. Their stillness exposes emotional instability in others. That is why calmness intimidates, it reflects self-governance, and self-governance is rare. Calm people are dangerous because they are unpredictable to those who depend on emotional reactions. You cannot read them easily. You cannot control them with pressure. You cannot rush them into mistakes. They move at their own pace, guided by principle, not provocation. True leadership is revealed under pressure, and pressure exposes the undisciplined. Calm people rise during storms because storms do not live inside them. They have trained themselves to remain centered even when everything around them is shaking. The calm person does not need to prove strength. Their consistency proves it for them. They don't chase attention. Results follow them. They don't react to disrespect. They respond with standards. This composure is dangerous because it reflects dominance over self. And anyone who rules themselves is capable of ruling outcomes. So if you want to become dangerous, not destructive, but powerful, learn calmness. Govern your emotions. Discipline your thoughts. Master your reactions. Because when you are calm, you are no longer controlled by circumstances. You become the one who controls direction. Calm people are not passive. They are prepared. And prepared people always win. Calmness is evidence of internal authority because it reveals who is truly in control when pressure arrives. Anyone can appear confident when conditions are favorable, but authority is tested when situations become uncertain, tense, or chaotic. In those moments, calmness is not accidental. It is the result of discipline, alignment, and self-governance. A calm person is not controlled by circumstances, emotions, or the opinions of others. They operate from within rather than reacting to what is happening around them. Internal authority begins with mastery of the inner world. Thoughts, emotions, fears, and impulses are powerful forces, and without governance, they rule the individual. Calmness signals that these forces have been organized and placed under leadership. When a person remains calm, it means their emotions are no longer leading their decisions. Their mind is not scattered and their identity is not threatened by external pressure. This level of control cannot be borrowed, imitated, or faked for long. It is built through consistency, reflection, and discipline. Calm people do not rush because they are not insecure about time. Urgency often comes from fear of being left behind, fear of losing control, or fear of being exposed. Calmness, on the other hand, reflects confidence in process and purpose. A person who knows where they are going does not panic when obstacles appear. They understand that disruption does not cancel direction. Their steadiness communicates that they trust their preparation more than they fear uncertainty. Internal authority also shows itself in the ability to absorb pressure without transferring it to others. Many people release their stress through anger, impatience, or emotional outbursts, unintentionally spreading disorder. Calm individuals carry weight without leaking it. They can sit in uncomfortable moments without becoming uncomfortable themselves. This composure stabilizes environments, strengthens relationships, and earns trust. People naturally look to calm individuals during crisis because calmness creates a sense of safety and clarity. True authority is not loud. It does not announce itself or demand recognition. Calmness speaks through presence rather than performance. A calm person does not need to dominate conversations, prove intelligence, or defend their value. Their confidence is rooted in identity, not applause. This quiet certainty unsettles insecurity in others because it cannot be shaken by noise or opposition. The calm individual remains grounded while others exhaust themselves trying to be seen or heard. Calmness is also a sign of alignment between values and actions. Inner conflict creates anxiety, confusion, and emotional volatility. When a person knows what they stand for, what they will tolerate, what they will not compromise, their responses become measured. They are not pulled in multiple directions by people's expectations. Their calmness comes from clarity. They are not undecided about who they are, so external pressure has limited influence. Internal authority allows a person to pause before responding. This pause is powerful. It creates space for wisdom, discernment, and intentional action. Reaction is automatic and often regretful. Response is deliberate and effective. Calm people understand that speed without control leads to mistakes. They choose timing over impulse and patience over pride. This ability to wait, think, and then act separates leaders from followers. Calmness also reflects emotional maturity. It does not mean the absence of feeling, but the ability to process emotions without being ruled by them. Calm people still experience anger, disappointment, and frustration, but they do not allow those emotions to dictate behavior. They have learned that feelings are information, not commands. This awareness strengthens judgment and preserves dignity, even in challenging situations. Ultimately, calmness is evidence of internal authority because it shows that a person governs themselves before attempting to influence anything else. Self-governance is the foundation of all leadership. Without it, power becomes destructive and influence becomes unstable. A calm individual moves with intention, speaks with purpose, and acts with restraint. Their presence communicates strength without aggression and confidence without arrogance. When a person is calm, they are not passive or disengaged. They are prepared. Their stillness is not emptiness, it is control. Their silence is not weakness, it is command. Calmness reveals a person who has learned to rule their inner world. Anyone who has mastered themselves carries an authority that cannot be threatened, rushed, or overpowered. Those who control themselves cannot be controlled by others because true power begins internally, not externally. Control over the self is the highest form of freedom. When a person governs their thoughts, emotions, desires, and reactions, they remove the leverage that others often use to manipulate behavior. External control thrives on internal disorder. Once the inner world is disciplined, the influence of pressure, fear, and opinion loses its grip. Self-control establishes independence of mind. Many people believe they are making choices freely, yet their actions are often driven by emotional triggers, social expectations, or the need for approval. When emotions rule, anyone who can provoke anger, fear, or insecurity gains power. A person who controls themselves does not hand over this power. They are not easily provoked, flattered, or threatened. Their decisions come from conviction rather than compulsion. The inability to control oneself creates vulnerability. Impulsive speech, emotional reactions, and uncontrolled desires expose weaknesses. These weaknesses can be exploited by environments, relationships, and systems that benefit from instability. Self-controlled individuals close these openings. They understand that restraint is not restriction, but protection. By managing impulses, they protect their purpose from distraction and their future from regret. Those who govern themselves are not driven by urgency or panic. Urgency often stems from fear of missing out, fear of failure, or fear of rejection. When fear controls behavior, direction is lost. Self-control brings patience, and patience preserves clarity. A person who is patient cannot be rushed into poor decisions. They move according to timing, not pressure. This makes them difficult to manipulate because manipulation depends on haste and emotional imbalance. Self-control also determines the quality of relationships a person forms. Individuals without discipline are easily influenced by dominant personalities, unhealthy attachments, or emotional dependency. When someone lacks internal control, they seek external validation and direction. In contrast, a self-governed person enters relationships from strength, not need. They can say no without guilt and stand firm without aggression. Their boundaries are clear, and boundaries protect autonomy. The world often rewards reaction, but reaction creates predictability. If others know what triggers you, they can control you. If they know what excites you excessively, they can distract you. If they know what you fear, they can intimidate you. Self-controlled individuals break this pattern. Their responses are measured and consistent. They are not easily read or influenced because they do not operate on impulse. This unpredictability is not confusion, it is mastery. Control of self also means control of focus. Distraction is one of the most effective tools of external control. When attention is scattered, purpose weakens. Self-governed individuals protect their focus intentionally. They do not chase every opportunity, argument, or trend. They understand that attention is currency, and wherever attention goes, life follows. By choosing where to invest focus, they maintain direction and authority over their path. Emotional self-control builds resilience. Life brings disappointment, criticism, and opposition. Those who lack control become bitter, reactive, or discouraged. Those who govern themselves remain steady. They process experiences without allowing them to redefine identity or direction. This resilience prevents external circumstances from reshaping their character or altering their values. When adversity cannot change you, it cannot control you. Self-control also enables long-term vision. People who lack discipline sacrifice future benefits for present comfort. This short-term mindset makes them dependent on immediate rewards and vulnerable to manipulation. Self-controlled individuals delay gratification. They choose what is beneficial over what is easy. This ability to wait strengthens independence and reinforces personal authority. Ultimately, those who control themselves cannot be controlled by others because they have established leadership over their inner world. They have decided who they are, what they value, and how they respond. External forces may apply pressure, but pressure alone cannot dictate action. Without emotional hooks, impulsive reactions, or uncontrolled desires, manipulation loses its power. Self-control does not make a person rigid or cold. It makes them free. Freedom is not the absence of constraints, but the presence of discipline. When a person masters themselves, they reclaim authorship of their life. Their choices are intentional. Their direction is stable, and their identity is secure. Such a person stands firm regardless of circumstance, proving that the highest form of control is self-mastery, and anyone who possesses it cannot be ruled by another. Silence combined with clarity intimidates disorder because chaos survives on noise, confusion, and emotional reaction. Disorder grows louder when it is challenged impulsively, but it weakens when it is confronted with calm certainty. Silence is often misunderstood as passivity, yet true silence is a position of strength. When silence is backed by clarity of thought and purpose, it becomes a powerful force that unsettles instability and exposes weakness without confrontation. Disorder thrives in environments where emotions lead and direction is absent. Noise creates cover for confusion. Arguments, reactions, and constant explanations feed chaos by giving it attention. Silence interrupts this cycle. It removes the fuel that disorder depends on. When a person chooses silence, they refuse to participate in emotional turbulence. When that silence is paired with clarity, it communicates that they are not confused, lost, or uncertain. They are simply not reactive. Clarity is what gives silence its authority. Without clarity, silence can appear as fear or indecision. With clarity, silence becomes intentional restraint. It signals that the individual understands the situation but does not need to prove it through words. This combination is intimidating because disorder expects engagement. Chaos anticipates argument, defense, or reaction. When none arrives, it loses momentum. People who live in disorder often rely on provoking responses to validate their behavior. They need reactions to feel powerful. Silence denies them that power. Clarity ensures that the silence is not empty but purposeful. It says without words that the person knows their position, understands their boundaries, and is not shaken by confusion. This quiet confidence exposes insecurity in those who depend on noise to assert control. Silence combined with clarity also reveals leadership. Leaders do not speak to fill space. They speak to give direction. When clarity exists, words become selective and precise. This selectiveness contrasts sharply with disorder, which over-explains, overreacts, and over-communicates. A disciplined use of silence highlights the lack of discipline in chaos. It creates a visible contrast that makes disorder uncomfortable in its own presence. Disorder fears clarity because clarity removes options for manipulation. Confusion allows control. When people are uncertain, they can be influenced easily. Clarity eliminates ambiguity. A clear mind cannot be misled by emotional tactics or pressure. When such a mind chooses silence, it becomes unreadable to disorder. This unpredictability destabilizes chaos, which depends on predictable reactions. Silence with clarity also demonstrates emotional maturity. Emotional instability often manifests as excessive talking, defensiveness, and the need to justify oneself. A person who is clear does not need to explain their worth or argue their position repeatedly. Their silence communicates self-assurance. This composure challenges disorder because it refuses to mirror dysfunction. Instead of matching chaos with chaos, it introduces stillness, and stillness exposes imbalance. In tense situations, silence shifts the power dynamic. The one who speaks impulsively reveals their emotional state. The one who remains silent retains control. Clarity ensures that this control is not accidental. It is a choice rooted in understanding and intention. This dynamic makes disorder feel exposed. Without resistance to push against, chaos collapses inward. Silence combined with clarity also protects purpose. Engaging with disorder drains energy and focus. A clear individual knows what deserves attention and what does not. Silence becomes a filter, preserving mental and emotional resources. This restraint signals discipline. And discipline intimidates disorder because disorder lacks it. When clarity governs silence, actions become more powerful than words. Disorder relies on talk, clarity relies on execution. Results speak in ways arguments cannot. This shift from verbal engagement to intentional action renders disorder ineffective. It has nothing to oppose and nothing to feed on. Ultimately, silence combined with clarity intimidates disorder because it represents self-governance. It shows that the individual is not driven by impulse, ego, or fear. Their inner world is organized, and organized minds threaten chaotic systems. This calm authority does not need confrontation to assert itself. Its presence alone is enough to disrupt instability. Silence with clarity is not avoidance. It is control. It is the refusal to descend into confusion. It is the confidence to let disorder reveal itself while remaining grounded. In a noisy world, this form of strength stands out sharply. It proves that the most effective response to chaos is not louder opposition, but quiet certainty rooted in understanding. Reaction gives power away. Restraint preserves it because power is not lost through force, but through surrender of control. Every reaction is a transfer of authority from the individual to the trigger. When a person reacts impulsively, they allow external circumstances, people, or emotions to dictate their behavior. In that moment, control shifts outward. Restraint, on the other hand, keeps authority internal. It allows the individual to remain the decision maker rather than becoming a responder to pressure. Reaction is often emotional and immediate. It bypasses discernment and replaces wisdom with impulse. Anger, fear, pride, and insecurity fuel reactions, and these emotions cloud judgment. When someone reacts, they reveal what controls them. Anyone who understands those triggers gains influence. This is why reaction is dangerous. It exposes vulnerability. Restraint conceals it. A restrained individual does not reveal emotional hooks or weaknesses easily, making them difficult to manipulate. Power is closely tied to timing. Reaction removes timing from the equation. It forces action before understanding has fully formed. Restraint restores timing by introducing a pause. That pause is not weakness. It is strategic. It creates space for clarity, perspective, and intentional choice. In that space, power is preserved. The ability to wait, assess, and then act separates leadership from impulsiveness. Reaction feeds chaos. Disorder thrives when emotions escalate and responses multiply without direction. Each reaction adds energy to the situation, amplifying confusion. Restraint interrupts this cycle. It refuses to fuel disorder. By withholding reaction, the restrained individual drains chaos of momentum. This quiet control unsettles those who depend on emotional escalation to assert dominance or influence. Reaction also diminishes dignity. Words spoken in haste cannot be retrieved, and actions taken impulsively often require apology or explanation later. These after effects weaken authority. Restraint protects reputation and integrity. It ensures that when a person speaks or acts, their response carries weight. Fewer words, chosen carefully, command more respect than many words spoken emotionally. Those who react often believe they are asserting strength, but constant reaction is a sign of dependence. It means one's emotional state is controlled externally. Restraint demonstrates independence. It shows that the individual is not enslaved by circumstances or provocation. This independence is power. It signals self-mastery and stability, qualities that inspire confidence and trust in others. Reaction is predictable. People who react consistently can be easily influenced. If someone knows what provokes anger, fear, or defensiveness, they can steer behavior. Restraint breaks predictability. A restrained individual does not respond in expected ways. This unpredictability is intimidating because it removes control from those who rely on manipulation. Power remains with the one who cannot be easily read or provoked. Restraint also preserves mental and emotional energy. Reaction consumes resources quickly, leaving exhaustion and regret. Restraint conserves energy for matters that truly require engagement. This selective use of energy reflects wisdom. It shows an understanding that not every situation deserves attention, and not every challenge requires a response. Power grows when energy is invested intentionally rather than wasted impulsively. Reaction often prioritizes immediate relief over long-term outcomes. It seeks to discharge emotion rather than achieve resolution. Restraint keeps long-term vision in focus. It allows a person to act in alignment with values and goals rather than temporary feelings. This alignment strengthens authority because actions are consistent and reliable. Ultimately, reaction gives power away because it places control in the hands of external forces. Restraint preserves power by maintaining internal governance. A restrained individual is not silent because they are afraid. They are silent because they are disciplined. They are not slow because they are uncertain. They are deliberate because they are clear. Power is not found in loud responses or instant retaliation. It is found in the ability to choose when, how, and whether to respond at all. Restraint ensures that this choice remains intact. By mastering restraint, a person safeguards their authority, protects their purpose, and moves through challenges with composure. In a world driven by impulse, restraint becomes a rare and formidable form of power. True strength is revealed under pressure, not noise, because strength is proven by stability, not volume. Noise often imitates power, but it cannot sustain it. Loud reactions, constant declarations, and dramatic displays may attract attention, yet they rarely demonstrate control. Pressure, on the other hand, strips away performance and exposes what a person truly carries within. When conditions tighten and expectations rise, character is revealed without effort or exaggeration. Noise is easy when there is no resistance. Anyone can speak boldly when nothing is at stake. Anyone can appear confident when the environment is comfortable. Pressure changes the atmosphere. It introduces uncertainty, risk, and consequence. Under pressure, weaknesses surface and preparation is tested. True strength does not escalate in these moments. It stabilizes. It becomes quieter, more focused, and more deliberate. People who rely on noise often use it to mask insecurity. Constant talking, aggressive posturing, and emotional outbursts attempt to dominate space rather than substance. Under pressure, this noise increases because fear increases. Volume becomes a substitute for control. True strength moves in the opposite direction. It does not need to prove itself. It concentrates, conserves energy, and responds with intention. Pressure reveals emotional discipline. When stress rises, emotions seek release. Many people release pressure through anger, panic, or blame. These reactions provide momentary relief but weaken authority. True strength absorbs pressure without transferring it. It processes stress internally and responds externally with clarity. This capacity to remain composed when conditions are intense signals mastery over self. Strength under pressure is also revealed through decision-making. Noise rushes decisions. It prioritizes speed over accuracy and reaction over wisdom. Pressure demands discernment. Those who are strong do not allow urgency to replace judgment. They pause, evaluate, and act with purpose. This restraint under stress demonstrates confidence in preparation and trust in process. True strength also becomes visible in consistency. Pressure often tempts compromise. Values are tested when outcomes are uncertain and opposition is present. Noise adapts to survive, shifting positions to gain approval or avoid discomfort. Strength remains anchored. It does not abandon principle to relieve tension. This stability under pressure builds credibility and respect because it shows that integrity is not situational. Under pressure, leadership emerges naturally. People instinctively look for stability when uncertainty rises. They are drawn to those who remain calm, clear, and focused. Noise repels under pressure because it amplifies anxiety. Strength attracts because it creates order. The strong do not dominate through force, they influence through presence. Pressure also reveals resilience. Life applies weight through failure, criticism, and delay. Noise often collapses when expectations are not met. It becomes defensive or discouraging. True strength endures. It adapts without breaking. It learns without losing identity. This endurance proves that strength is not dependent on outcomes, but rooted in character. True strength under pressure is patient. It understands that outcomes unfold through time and effort. Noise demands immediate recognition and quick results. When these do not arrive, it grows louder or fades away. Strength remains steady. It continues working, refining, and advancing even when progress is slow or unseen. This patience under stress reflects depth and maturity. Pressure also exposes purpose. When comfort disappears, only what is essential remains. Noise loses direction without applause. Strength continues moving because it is driven by conviction rather than validation. Purpose anchors strength when pressure threatens to derail focus. Ultimately, true strength is revealed under pressure because pressure cannot be negotiated with. It demands authenticity. It removes pretense and exposes reality. Noise may impress temporarily, but it cannot endure testing. Strength stands firm without announcement. It does not need to be heard to be felt. When pressure rises, the strong become quieter, clearer, and more intentional. Their actions speak louder than their words. Their consistency outlasts opposition. Their composure reassures others. In a world captivated by noise, strength that endures pressure stands apart. It proves that real power is not about how loudly one speaks, but how steadily one stands when everything is being tested.